All right, boys and girls, this is part 3 of this process. I never thought this bodysuit would be this more involved. Part 3, to try to finish this up, somebody was also saying, why don't you hide the body parts underneath the bodysuit in order to get it to look right? And they're absolutely right. That's what I thought the original person who had a problem with this was going to do, is hide the body parts. But apparently, I don't know, that I guess that didn't happen or something, or it doesn't work. But you definitely want to be hiding the body parts. So I want to show you something. We're going to go to gloves again. Remember how this fit the hands perfectly, but not the rest of the body? Unfortunately, I had forgotten the problem with gloves. There's a problem. The reason I hate gloves, because they don't generally come in very well, particularly if they're part of a larger outfit. Again, I thought this original poser's problem was he was going to hide parts of the body, which you should always be doing. You should always hide parts. For one thing, it makes the rendering go a lot faster if you hide the body parts. So remember here, if we put the gloves on, the hands deform perfectly, but the rest of it doesn't. The problem is, even if we don't do anything more, if we go in and, for example, try a pose here, just, I don't know, something like maybe just sitting here, you'll notice that the gloves deform really good, but the rest of the outfit does not look as good. Okay, so what can we do about this? Well, luckily we can do something about this, and the way we do it is, it's not too complicated, but again, this is one of those cases where you want to know all of your tools. First case first, we probably should hide the body parts that we're not going to be using. So in this particular case, we know she's covered with the bodysuit mostly. There's some parts that have to be bare midriff in that one thing. So, but we want to hide all the parts that we don't need for sure. Again, that's just going to be more, what am I going to say, more efficient, more and then you're not going to have any problems with breakthrough where you don't need it. Now again, once you start putting bare midriffs and things, you may have to unhide some of those body parts, but at least originally we want to do that. Second thing is, we've got the bodysuit with the gloves waiting on that's going to take care of this one. And now I'm going to go ahead and load in that first bodysuit on top of this one. Now you got to be careful sometimes when you load in another item, clothing item, it may replace the first item, and I can show you how to get rid of that too if you want. But for now, it doesn't, because it comes in as a different numbered item. So now we have a bodysuit that covers everything except for those fingers properly. So now we want to go again to the bodysuit that the fingers aren't working properly. And we're going to do it this way to make it easy to see. And I think you can see, yeah, those fingers are not working properly. You can see they're not, they're all scrunched up. So we really don't need those fingers in this particular process. So again, we can go to Edit Mesh and Face, and then just hide those the ones that aren't working properly. Okay. So far what we've got is, whoops, I guess I didn't get that one right. Let's try that again. Edit Mesh, and we choose Face, and we take this, and we hide that. Okay, there we go. So now, if we put this all together, we have her wearing basically a two-piece bodysuit. One with the gloves correctly weighted for the hands, and then one with the rest of the body weighted. So now, if we go into pose, and we pick a particular pose like we did before, just some kind of pose where she's female here, and it doesn't matter, like that, something like that. So now she's, oh, we still didn't hide the rest of that bodysuit. I'm sorry, I didn't, I know what I didn't do. That's right, I was going to do this before. I was going to show you how to turn down the zeros on this. Why did I do that? It's been a long day. I played a lot of tennis. Yeah, you could hide this, and we'll hide this for the sake of doing this. Let's go back and we'll do that. You can hide it. What I had done before, what I did this real quick, is I went ahead and instead of hiding it, I made those parts transparent. The reason I did that is because these, if you recall, the very first video, there's a lot of zones in here that you have to precisely color. And I thought if I made the things transparent on the ones that use the arms, so that's this one here. I'm going to rename this gloves so we get it. So on the gloves one, no, that's not the gloves. I'm sorry. Let's take that back again. That's the body. This is the gloves. what I was saying, oh God, it's just been a long day. Too much tennis and still recovering from my knee surgery. So turn on the gloves. On the gloves one, you could go ahead and hide the pieces that you don't want, kind of like we did with the other one on the body where we hid the gloves. We hid the gloves. So on this one where we hid the gloves, you can go ahead and do the same thing. Excuse me. On the gloves, is we could go ahead and hide the body portions, and that is a way you could do this. But I also wanted to show you another way, is that we could go into the textures, because remember, this has all these specific texture areas. So one way that you could just go ahead and get it precisely tailored is you can go ahead and hide these. You can turn this down, and it will take a little time depending upon the speed of your machine. I have a fast machine, but it's still taking a little bit of time to do this. So we would leave the arms alone, because remember, we want all the arms, but we would take all these pieces, like all the chest and the torso, that sort of thing, and we would still go ahead and change the opacity down to 0. So that's a way. That's another way of doing it, of kind of making it, instead of going ahead and hiding the mesh, we're actually hiding the specific textures on here. So that way, when you go ahead and you make your pieces that you want to color properly, you can get them in the exact zones. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I won't finish the rest of it just to see. I'll show you, well, maybe I will. I'll see. Yeah, I wish it didn't take quite as long. It takes a little bit of time on this machine to reset more than a handful of textures. So come on down on the legs and feet. There's a lot of these, but I think this will work okay. So hopefully this is making sense. Instead of, you can hide the mesh, or you can go in and you can edit the actual material that's applied and then make it hide. So now, if we go in here like this and we go ahead and we apply a pose to this gal, the pieces that we've hidden, as well as the in the mesh of the clothing, as well as the pieces that we sent to transparent, are now transparent. So now she's fine. So that's we may have to do a little pulling and adjusting, but you know how that works on there. I mean, we may need to hide some more of these textures. I didn't quite hide, but anyway, hopefully this explains how to combine the whole damn thing, so we have nice gloved hands and the rest of the texture in the body all matching up perfectly, just by using those two bodysuits layered on top of each other. And now we can go ahead and, just like we did in the first video, and color very specifically, and the coloration would work perfectly as we went through. So hopefully this is the end of this body. I never want to see this bodysuit again in my life. No, I probably will save this bodysuit, excuse me, out as the gloves section of this in my content, because now I have those two if I ever need to create suit gloves. So now I've got the two, and they'll work for anybody. So take care, guys. I'm going to bed. I have a doctor's appointment in the morning. Hopefully things will be better. I'll see you later.